Hey everybody, it's me Andrew. Get out into nature and tune in for yourself. Resonate with the Earth's electromagnetic field via 432 Hz, the universal frequency. Balance out psychologically and emotionally, and further strengthen your brain and your heart's coherence as well. Get a plant-based diet going for yourselves today and nurture yourself right back into life. We are literally herbivores in our nature. Further balance out your physical body's pH level and get with alkalinity. Then you can generate some static electricity, sending me some love telepathically, set attention to your mind, and set intention to communicate. That is all there is to telepathy. You are now tuning in to Great Days. So today I wanted to go over the brain hemispheres and balancing out the two energies, and maybe I get into the various different the systems of imbalance. Because there's various different systems that imbalance the brain uh, regionings to their uh, benefit, right? Type of little control system, whatever you want to call it, right? So let's get into this. So balancing the hemispheres of the brain is very vital for being able to come into a centralness or centrality, which is going to allow you to utilize the body as a tool and the mind as a tool more to of an efficiency, right? So being able to balance out the brain hemispheres is pretty much just unionizing two polarities of energy or the two energies, right? We have the principle of yin and yang, right? In Taoism, we have black and white. This is feminine and masculine energy, or just two energies, two extremities of one polarization, right? One spectrum. So we have the left and the right hemisphere of the brain. One is feminine, one is masculine, one is male, one is feminine, one is sorry about this. One is one is introvert and one is extrovert. It's kind of just opposites. So uh, you have to come to be able to balance them. There's many different ways to be able to balance your energy within yourself. Once you're able to do this, you're going to see the benefit. The benefit is that you're able to come into the central channel, the central, the centricity, right? You're able to come into an absolute centeredness, and this absolute centeredness is what you need in order to come back into a universal oneness, because universal oneness is the nature of things. The only reason you're seeing in a duality of self and other and differencing and separation and all this type of junk is because you have the two hemispheres of the brain, right? And once they're seeing it's seeing in a duality, right? When you come into the heart, there's only it's a centrality because it's one heart. There's only one mind too, but there's two hemispheres, so it creates a division, and that division is duality. Um, Let me see. So the moment that you start unionizing two energies, right? Um, you can be able to come into the center, your center, which is going to allow you to shift into higher states of awareness, right? Whenever you're kind of when it's imbalanced, it makes it very hard to be able to do things with an efficiency, right? Because maybe one hemisphere of the brain is doing something and the other hemisphere of the brain is doing a completely different thing, right? And they're just working, they can work against each other, or you can work both of them towards one flow or within one flow. So you can have both hemispheres of the brain working against each other. They could both be going, one can be doing something this way and one can be doing something that way. And it can create all sorts of different regional noddings, right? Neurological regions and various different entanglements, right? And the intersectionings can be densifications of various different air, areas, right, of the electromagnetic spectrum that it can tune into. So you can pick up on things that are going to either help you when you're trying to do whatever you're trying to do, or perceive, whatever it may be. Think about it kind of more like a dance rather than trying to objectify or anything, right? By this I mean you're kind of just, it's just a dance. There's not really any meaning to anything. More so, um, you can get caught up on your own foot, though, is the whole thing. And when the brain is imbalanced, uh, it's very you can easily get caught up in your own footwork, right, when you're dancing. That's exactly what can happen if your brain's hemispheres are imbalanced and working against each other. It's like your feet are working against each other when you're trying to dance. You're gonna fall, right? Which the fall is corresponding to a fall in consciousness or dimension or even capability, right? Because you're very, very capable when it comes to being able to utilize the balanced, an absolutely balanced state. You can do much, but the thing is that they're imbalanced. Your two hemispheres are working against each other, and there's various different systems that are doing this deliberately to keep people out of the empowerment that they are able to come into if they work the discipline in of being able to balance the brain hemispheres. Because it doesn't just happen. You need to master. It's something that you master. It's not something that comes to you. Um, Maybe in like the animal kingdom or out in nature, the various different creatures are absolutely balanced. I'm not too sure because I haven't really got into it, but I would think they are, because this is just the nature. Because they know how to use their body. They're very in tune with their body, right? So we have we have lost that ability if we've ever had it. I'm sure we have. Now it's just that the brain hemispheres are completely imbalanced and they're working against each other, right? Because it's like stepping on your own feet when you're trying to dance. You kind of just fall. And as a creation god or as a god of creation, which you're co-creating the entire earth plane or earth realm, it would make sense that there's systems that are trying to keep you from being able to fluently dance to the song of creation, right? Is what I'm trying to say about it. So it would make sense that there's systems that are keeping the brain in balance, right? For one, the technologies, I want to say technology, the technologies we're using nowadays in majority are left-brained technologies. They're not right-brained technologies. So due to the fact that they're left-brained technologies, there's easily going to be an over-dominance in our left-brained hemisphere or in our left brain hemisphere, right? And due to the fact that there's going to be an over-dominance through the over excessive use of technologies is the factorization that brings us to a societal imbalance, which leads us to live within the left brain hemisphere. So the left brain hemisphere is masculine. It's over masculine, or it's not over masculine, but it's masculine dominated. That's the energy that it grew from. So it's logical, it's scientific, it's mathematical, it's formulative, it's egoic, and it's individual, right? So since we're living within the left brain hemisphere dominancy, this means that the societal takeover is going to be, or the societal way of life currently modern day is also going to be dominated by the masculine left brainedness, which in reflection, the society is left-brained. The westernization or the westernized society is left-brained, uh, and you can tell by the way we do things. We don't do things like Egypt, or we don't do things like India, or some of the more right-brained dominant societies. We do things left-brained, which we're extremely masculine about how we do things. We're very objective. For one, everybody's objective in their nature. Point A to point B. You know, GPS. GPS is point A to point B. The whole thing of GPS is that it's left-brained because it's objective in its nature. If it was right-brained, we wouldn't really need GPS. We would be using something completely different because we would be using a completely different technology. But the technologies we're using right now is left-brained. This is a left-brained technology. It corresponds to the left brain hemisphere. Right-brained technologies are completely different. So the left brain technologies and the over excessive use of them is just part of that system of neurological imbalance within the entirety of society. And it's not just technology either. It's there's a whole lot more to put into it. You know, you can even look into the foods, the popularized foods or the popularized dietings are all contributing to the imbalance of the brain, right? Not just the diet, but literally everything. And this is why Western society is left-brained in its nature, right? I want to say Egypt. I think it was more right. Obviously, it was more right-brained. It was right-brain dominant, and it was completely different the way that it was, right? They would easily use universal consciousness for literally everything, right? We don't use it like this. We don't use universal consciousness. It can barely even get into the government and be looked at as something to be taken seriously, right? But it's something, it's what has been used all throughout our ancestry civilizations. And it's because they were in tune with the right brain. The right brain is the feminine. The feminine is responsible for music, it's responsible for creativity, it's responsible for subjectivism instead of objectivism. So being subject, or subjective experience, it's responsible for ego dissolution or the experience of God, right? So being able to, kind of look into yourself from all around would be more right-brainedness. Um, so we don't you it there's a very big imbalance when it comes to the brain hemispheres, right? So but you can take it upon yourself to be able to balance out the brain hemispheres. It's not easy, but you can do it, right? They even have various different farms, right? Farms, technological farms, for being able to imbalance the mass uh, neurologically, right? So there's plenty of different systems for imbalancing the brain, because once again we are dancing to the song of creation. This means that we are creating reality. Since we're creating reality, we hold a tremendous amount of power because we're literally conceptualizing what is in existence. So if they can make us step on our own feet when we're dancing, then we lose the elegance of that whole tune, right? And it becomes more of a complication within ourself. It becomes a complexion within ourself, an entanglement within the energetical system, right? Which is what it is. It's an entanglement within the energetical system that is causing various different sicknesses. With the right brain, you can also cure a lot of illnesses, a lot of diseases that are quote unquote incurable, right? So the fact that we still have everything set up the way it is when it comes to treatment centers and various different hospitalities and the pharmaceutical industries, all of these are still dominated by left-brained maneuvering or left-brained or the left brain. See, with the right brain, you're going to be able to heal yourself from anything. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be cancer. It can be stage 4 cancer, and you can still heal yourself with little to no application of anything. And that's truth. That is a truth. The only thing is that they have made it a left-brained dominated society, and in the left brain, there's a lot of objectification. There's a lot of point A to point B type of mathematics, right? So this means that the systems that we're currently using are also left-brained. It's a reflection of the mass, right, within that society. And the mass within that society is dominated by the left brain hemisphere. So balance the two out, and the whole perception of reality changes completely. See, people, anybody, they're going to almost everybody is dominated by the left brain, the masculine, and due to this fact, it's becoming overcapacitative. It's becoming over intoxified. This is slowly becoming a toxic masculine society, and because of that, there needs to be a balancing that needs to come into the society. So it's the rise of the divine feminine, right? But due to the over toxification of the dominancy of masculine energy, it is slowly leading us to collective illness in the West, right? And even the world, because it affects the world. So this illness is easily manifesting itself in warfare, things like this. It's manifesting itself in the various different industrial ways of life as well, and it's manifesting itself in a million different ways. But the divine feminine energy is slowly coming in, and it's slowly balancing things, right? So this is why the over masculine society needs it's going to come to a shutdown. It's going to come to a reset. There's going to be a lot that happens that is going to collectively call for a shift in that energy, right? So right now it's overly masculine, it's overly toxified because of the corruption of the masculine energy, and the divine feminine is on the rise, slowly on the horizon. But there needs to happen some things in order to integrate that absolute state of balance between the two energies. So you can do that within yourself. You can wait till it happens throughout the masses, or you can just do nothing, right? Because it's going to happen anyway, that it becomes balanced. But if you do it within yourself, you can literally contribute to that whole movement of the divine feminine energy on the rise, changing things, right? Um, so it's definitely happening. The whole balancing between the feminine and the masculine energy. Um, there needs to the revelations, right? There needs to come that ending, which is which literally is the destruction, the ending of the overdominancy, right? And then the Genesis is the rebirth, the renewment, which is going to be the divine feminine coming to fructify or flower, right? This is when everything is collectively minded. Collectivism, spirituality is collectivism. That corresponds to the right brain. Collectivism, the left brain corresponds to individuality, egoism, right? So we're no longer going to be able to exist as egos. Ego is a shared collective delusion, or as a shared delusion. Ego doesn't exist. The right brain is going to allow you to have the experience of not being able to distinguish from another person as yourself. By this I mean you literally cannot distinguish between yourself and another person. You are no different from another person, but you feel it. You literally you can get confused between the two, right? Like, I don't know if I'm this guy. He doesn't know if I'm him. We're getting confused with each other. We think we're the same person because we are the same person. That's all right-brainedness. You can have a whole group of people, Aboriginal tribes perceive life in this way. They can get mixed up with each other because they just become one whole organism. They see themselves as cells in a body, which is what we are. We're cells in a body. I'm no different from the next guy. The next guy is me. He just has a different name and he has a different shape. But the space between both of us is a connective, it's connective. Just that. It's just connective. The space is not separated, or it's not separating two people. The space is not distancing two people. Distance is an illusion. There is no distance. It's only relative. But if you go beyond or recede into deeper dimensions of the mind, relativity in its essence dissolves away. Distance, times, they all become illusion, right? So the space is filled. It's an extension of the human body. So if you are able to really feel the space as your body, you slowly start to lose your form and you come into like a formlessness, right? And then you can't distinguish between another person and yourself. You become the same person. And that energy, that experience is extremely contagious. It can literally infect that other person, even if he's not on the yoga, or even if he's not in that same perceptual field. He's still going to be infected or affected by that experience that one of the individuals is having, because that's quantum entanglement. That's quantum mechanics. Quantum entanglement is when two particles are entangled and vibrating in unison so that they are interacting, or not only interacting, but they are mirroring or reflecting each other over any distance. Once again, distance is an illusion. So they are interacting in unison, reflecting each other simultaneously, over any distance. And it doesn't need to be between two quantum particles. This can happen within two individuals. So I can vibrate in unison with another person, and we can reflect each other no matter the distance. Another person could be on the other side of the globe for me, and we can still be vibrating in unison, right? This is one way you would be able to use telepathy, communication through mind, which is faster than light because it's fourth dimensional. So quantum entanglement, once again, is vibrating in unison. And if you're vibrating in unison, that means you're on the same vibrational wave. God damn it. Raves, vibrational wavelength. If you're on the same vibrational wavelength, you are the same vibration. And that means you're in the same formulation. That means you're the same form. That means you're the same person. So if you go deeper into that, entanglement, or the mechanics of the entanglement itself, it can lead you to the experience of not being able to distinguish between you and another person, right? So come deeper into yourself, come into the heart, into centrality, and balance the two polarities of energy until it's just one energy, and then nothing, and then you're formless, and then you can literally come to a death. And you want to die. You want to die because death doesn't exist. So it's like doing what you're afraid of, right? You have to do what you're afraid of because what you're afraid of is keeping you from growing. So you need to do what you're afraid of. And the ultimate thing that everybody in egoism is afraid of is death. So you just have to die. You have to kill yourself. So kill yourself, but don't do it in a way which is uh, do it in whatever way you want, right? Kill yourself. Do it through meditation. Do it through psychedelics. Die. Just die. And you're going to understand that life is a dream. You don't actually die when you die. Death is a misconception. We've misconceived death. It's been taught wrong so that we disconnect from source. When you're connected to source, there is no death, but it's just another experience. When you die, you shed the body. Shedding the body implies that you're still living on some vibrational wave. In order to shed anything, you must have another form. I shed my clothes, I'm naked. I shed my skin, there's a skeletal structure. There's always another form. You shed the body, your soul is transmitted, or it's transitioning into another state of awareness. It's that simple. That doesn't exist. The pain that comes with death cessates. So death is not even a painful thing. Long before the death actually, when you're in a painful death, the pain receptors are not going to capture it all. It recedes, so the pain just fades away. And that's all that you can really fear of death, right? Is let's say you get tortured or something, or let's say that you die in a car crash. The pain is going to quickly fade because it's an extreme sensation. And then there's nothing after that. You just dissolve, right? And then you have the whole experience of transcending the ego. So balance the two energies of yourself, the feminine and masculine. Do this, and you can continue growing. That's one reason they imbalanced it as well, because it's stagnation of growth within oneself. When you balance the two energies, you start growing in a specific way. It's a divine transmutation that takes place when you begin to unionize the two energies. You go through a specific transmutation, and that transmutation allows you to grow into higher and higher and higher intelligences, dimensions, levels of consciousness. But you have to unionize the two energies, otherwise there's stagnation. It's like keeping a weight on your leg, right? Like a ball and chain type of thing. One of your sides is weighed down while the other one is just trying to flow energy upwards, right? You're going to have a stroke like that. Something. It doesn't allow you to grow. But the moment that you do unionize them for yourself, the divine transmutation takes its course, because the flow of energy is central at that point, right? So then you begin the mutation, a mutation into a higher, subtler, energetical level. You begin shedding the body more often, because you're becoming a spirit once again. That's everybody is a spirit. Everybody is a spirit, and that's all we are. We're spirit, energy. The body, everything is energy. But there's multiple different levels, multiple different rhythms. You can get into anything you want ever that has existed and has not existed, right? So make sure to die, right? Peace out, one love, and have a great evening.